absolutely smashed through the Terran in the past. It's been a while, though. We'll see if we can do it here.
Oh, pretty early pylon going down that mineral line. The top left in the red from Good Game Gaming. It's a Good Game gamer named Cyan.
12 pylon, 13 gate. Indeed, good spotting that, Maynard. And down here in the bottom right-hand side, you better hope he SCV scouts because he's getting proxy void raid. This is time.
Now, I got to give a, I don't like to do this too often, especially in the early game, which is going to be ramping up pretty soon. But I'd like to give a shout out actually to Korean actress Ho Yeon Jung from the Squid Game series on Netflix. Yeah,
I love that show.
The series, Peg, we've been friends for a really long time. You know that my favorite magazine is actually Korean Vogue. And she did an interview recently to say that she's been obsessed with watching the ESL Pro Tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, quoted just saying, I just think it's something the world needs right now. Whenever I watch the ESL Pro Tour, my mood changes for the better. So yeah, she's probably in chat right now, probably putting on all her channel points in Cyan. And yeah, shout out to you, Ho Yeon Jong.
Shout outs indeed. Well deserved. Obviously, a woman with fine taste in entertainment and sports, and I'm sure we're going to have an interesting match here for her. Now, that's a Marine first. Time has not scouted until now. This is a very late SCV going out to scout. Zealot is going to, of course, be meeting that SCV as it moves out on the map. And Stargate going to be going down here very quickly before a minute 50. That's a very quick tech structure. And there we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the early pylon really can only mean a couple things. You're either getting the cannons up there or you're getting the void rays up there. And we know that the Protoss have been loving their laser beams lately. Time canceling the command center immediately as the SCV gets into the natural area of the Protoss, seeing no nexus.
Drops a factory immediately. Second gas will be going down shortly, and a bunker, no doubt, as well. Some people do like a second barracks here as well. And that's an interesting bunker placement because that does not protect either of the depots or the reactor, really. So there's two different approaches. Just get the safety bunker here. The other one is to actually put it in front and just say, no, I'm going to actually fight to repair that bunker. We're going to defend the full-on wall off and try to keep these depots alive as long as possible. If the Void Rays can snipe off the depots, the reactor early on, that's where you can start to spiral things and get so much damage early that the Terran does crumble. If you can then lead that into sniping one of the early Cyclones or Vikings that comes out, things fall apart real quick.
All right, one shield battery's going to be cancelled there. The other two are still going to get up. And obviously the, Time has only got a short couple moments here to get all the tools he needs to hold on. And what does the Terran nearly really need here? Usually the answer is Cyclones. A lot of Marines and bunkers can do it. Some Terrans even get turrets. But Tech Lab Factory, Cyclone Production, Mag Field Accelerator, those things coming right now for Time are exactly what you need for the tools of Terran to hold this particular pressure from the Protoss. Getting a starport up with a Viking can also be great, but just Cyclones can often be enough.
Going for those depots, already gets an SCV here as well. Magfield Cyclone on the way. Still haven't seen a starport yet, Maynard, which is a little surprising to me. Usually people do opt for Vikings as well. He's going to go for that engineering bay turret response. It's very rare we actually see this these days. Kua, a lot of the other Terrans out there, big fan of the starport. This is something U-Thermal's been teaching for a long time. And it is definitely favored by a small set of the Terrans. Marines going to do some damage to the Void Ray as well. That reactor's still surviving for a little while longer, buying himself a bit more of a window to get these defenses up is our Terran.
Yeah, he's got a little bit more room to breathe. Also, the factory's in a position where it's a lot safer against the Void Rays as well. If you've got your factory right next to that barracks, it can be really, really rough. The repair on the reactor is also important. It's worth losing a few SCVs here for Time to keep that reactor up because double the Marine production, more Marines means less problems against these Void Rays if you can get that meat shield going on.
Second Cyclone's out. Magfield still not here though. That bunker's going to fall real quick, and with the bunker going down, definitely hurts your defenses. Now this is still being committed to by Cyan, but I haven't seen Fleet Beacon and I haven't seen extra gateways. And that's surprising because normally it's either you're warping in Stalkers with this as a transition or you're going for that Fleet Beacon. But neither of those coming down just yet. It seems like a straight up just I will shove Void Rays in and try to win the game with these guys.
Yeah, I mean, it could work. But I do think that it starts to lose a little bit of value the longer the game goes, of course.
Oh, Marines are falling. Depth does go down though.
Bunker's up.
The batteries are dry. He's going to try and use these shield batteries on the left that are a little more fresh. But, Magfield. Oh. Magfield, so much damage, man.
And when those Void Rays try to chase those Cyclones and punish them for the lock-on, the bunker covers. A lot of hit points going off those Void Rays. Only one shield battery with juice in it here, with considerable amount at least.
You don't want to activate Prismatic Alignment until you've already chased the Cyclones and Vikings away a little bit, and then you want to do it kind of by surprise, right? Or when you catch them suddenly, you're on top, bam, Prismatic Alignment, wipe a Cyclone or a Viking, and then quickly deactivate and pull back. But it's such a high damage scenario. Cyclone so fragile, Viking so fragile to magfield, Void Ray, sorry, so fragile to magfield as well.
Yeah, taking tons of damage here from these lock-ons, the Void Rays, trying to get their shots in, but the Cyclone with the lock-on will always outrange them if they can kite. And now we've got the Viking here as well, which can also outrange. And it seems like time's actually, you know, starting to stabilize a little bit here. Cyan getting more and more all in. It is Fleet Beacon, though, and Tempests are on the way. And now the Cyclones aren't as strong. It's about Vikings now for time.
Don't go too far forward, Time. You got to be careful. Those shield batteries, you want to chip away at them, but you do not want to lose these units. Time. Oh, he baits the Prismatic Alignment. He loses a Cyclone, doesn't get a Void Ray for it. Great micro from Cyan.
Yeah, well done. He's even getting a gateway on the front here, so it looks like he might try and get a few more adepts on the front, even getting warp gate upgrades so that he can actually warp in quickly here at this pylons at the front. Now, with the warp gate right next to them, they do get the fast warp ins for the gateway units. And Time is still making Cyclones here. If he doesn't realize that there's a Tempest, okay, he sees it now. We're going to see another Viking here from Time shortly. Tempests are kind of made of paper, but they do have that range and can actually punish the Cyclones even positionally. So it's going to, you need to have another Viking or two here just to make sure.
There's no way to get out of this base right now. Now, Cyan is not expanding. You expand and get Blink Stalkers out, it is game over, right? But Cyan's not expanding. Cyan's not expanding. Cyan, I like that. That's actually a cool name.
It's an icon, man.
That's my next Smurf. Time, he just doesn't even have the option, man. He can't move out even if he wanted to.
Got the Tempest, though. Not bloody bad. Those Tempests are made of paper. They really do die quite fast. It's 5 Magfield Cyclones, though, looking for a lock-on.
It takes, I think, 3 Cyclones to one-shot, 3 Tempests, sorry, to one-shot a Cyclone, if I remember correctly. As I don't think Cyclones have a base armor, and it's 40 damage a shot from the Tempest, 120 hit points for the Cyclone. So, yeah, losing a Tempest is a real bummer there for Cyan, who can't, he's supply blocked right now. He can't be producing. And whoever overextends could end up really bad. Like, force field on the ramp means you can't chase this Protoss down that ramp. And you can't just sit at the edge chipping at it, because the Tempests will just pick at you. So honestly, it's just it's a waiting patience game, which to me always feels like in this scenario, it favors the Protoss unless you can somehow hurt his economy. You can sneak some Vikings across, maybe. Oh, he's going for it.
Force fields, trying to scoop in a couple Cyclones. He gets one Cyclone there and then a Marine. Loses a few of those air units, though. Cyan overextending like crazy here, actually.
The Void Rays were attacking Marines that entire fight, Maynard. They weren't shooting the Vikings or the Cyclones, and that's the big mistake, which has really cost him. And now, he's going to lose all of these units. That Void Ray somehow alive for a little bit longer. There are still 3 Tempests. I don't think it's over. Keep in mind, he can warp in more Stalkers as well. And Stalkers are pretty good versus all of these units.
You are not wrong. Cyclone's coming down the ramp trying to get rid of said Stalkers. Do get rid of one.
Ooh.
Every Tempest kill's pretty huge, but he's also losing Vikings here. The Stalker's assisting the repair on the Viking. Oh my god, that Viking lived for so long.
Ooh, dude, the Tempests aren't going down. Time just lost all of his units. And those shield batteries will regenerate now. This is a huge problem for Time. As the Oracle can tag, which means the Tempests have vision from afar. The bunker is gone, and Cyan, with a super committed just Void Ray battery pressure, straight into Tempest, eventually adding a handful of Stalkers to help finish off those units. And I love the way the Stalkers, there was often the Tempests were putting Vikings and Cyclones in the red, and the Stalkers were just kind of tapping them to finish them off. So, lovely addition.
I love the Nexus here in the natural as well. I'm a huge fan of it. Gets the Tempest kill there. Cyan, gotta be careful, mates. Be careful. The plus side of this Nexus being here is he can overcharge a shield battery now.
Ooh, he wanted that Cyclone real bad. Doesn't quite get it though, and yeah, that is actually a huge bonus. As another Oracle Revelation does go down. This is such a hard situation to be in as Time. You kind of wish you had an expansion elsewhere just so you can keep mining.
Here come the boys. He's done.
No sentry?
He's like, F this, let's go. Oh yeah, no sentries. He's just been making Stalkers. Time just coming down here with brute force here.
Dude, he's gonna break it. He's gonna break it. No sentry.
Oh, and the repair on the Cyclone in the backline as well. These Vikings are unchallenged.
Oh, the Tempest goes down. If that Tempest goes down, it's nothing left on the ground.
Man,
The Vikings can
land
land.
the Vikings. Yeah, absolutely going to land the Vikings here and kill those Stalkers.
Oh, there's still 3 Stalkers with batteries, though.
Cyclone. Yeah.
Oh, I think, okay, Cyan just barely hangs on. Barely hangs on, and time has to tap out.
Man, that was a tightrope walk. Those were 2 players tightrope walking in a PvT with decisions being made while juggling flaming swords on a unicycle. That was some very, very action-packed StarCraft 2 there. I know a lot of people, they see the, the proxy Stargate stuff, and they're like, ugh. Like, it happens all the time. It doesn't really. It's not a super common build anymore, but it's, it was very, very, very action-packed there for both those players. I found that pretty entertaining to watch.
Absolutely. I do think if you scout as late as time, you need a very perfect response to handle that sort of thing. And we saw that with his response, with no early starport, there's no option to get an early Viking to go land in his base. Liberator, a medevac filled with Marines. There's no counterplay there, so it's all about winning those frontal fights. And Time microed very well, but even small mistakes cost you big time. Cyan picking that build to start the series because he knows that Time likes to skip scouting or scout very late in the game, get a kickstart on his build order. Cyan knew that if he could put a little bit more respect in Time, it's going to allow him to play smoother macro games later in the series. Time's going to have to invest in scouting earlier, play a bit safer. This sets up Cyan to be in a much better playing field for the rest of this best of 5.
Yeah, getting the first map win is great. Obviously, a bit more work to do now. He's got 2 more games ahead of him to win here, to win the series. And he got the win on Lightshade, which I believe was his pick. So let's see what the next map is going to be here. No ad break for you guys. We're going to get straight into game 2. So pretty keen to see what goes down. Like, does Time get aggressive to respond? Usually Time isn't the kind of guy to get emotional and respond, kind of like Coffee did against XY on Ramanda's side, where he's like, "Oh, game 1 was so frustrating. I'm just gonna kill you, you silly sit there turtle man. I'm gonna kill you now with my proxy barrackses." He will just be like, "Oh, okay, I lost game 1. I'm still going to stick with my game plan. I know that I can outplay him if I can get to the mid game."
Indeed. I think it's also, it's a pretty good way to play is to just keep that confidence. Don't let your opponent intimidate you. Is Cyan really going to risk doing something that wild in game number 2? Who knows? Is Time simply going to answer with a proxy of his own? There's so many options that do come up in these scenarios. Can't wait to see how it goes.
Indeed. All right, mates, let's get amongst it. In the top left here, winning game 1. Can he get a second or perhaps even a third here and win the series? This is Good Game Gaming Cyan.
On the bottom right side of this map, and a frustrating start to the series. We're here on a very big map. Representing Kaiser Gaming, it is Time.
Yeah, there are a lot of different ways to hold the proxy void ray thing. We're talking about the list of them. You can even invest in a turret if you want to go on that way, but I don't think that's as effective as just making a meat shield of Marines, then going into Cyclones, Vikings, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, man. Like, it's you want to win that fight. You don't want to give those void rays an opportunity, and I think that's kind of the beauty of the way Cyan did it. Is just don't stop building void rays, right? It was like 5-6 void rays or something, and just batteries in the face, go, keep fighting. I think that's a lot of the time. Like, I see people do one where they get like 1 void ray and they go straight Tempest, and it just seems to me like it gives a bit too much room for the Terran to kind of react in many different ways. But that sort of in-your-face version of it, really do like that. Good way to start the series off, and now Cyan going for a greedier build, Nexus before Cybercore. So this does allow Time to skip the bunker if he realizes in time okay, this is cool. If he does go for the bunker, I definitely feel like Protoss is ahead and he gets a bit of a lead off this opening.
And he's gone for the SCV scout, so we'll be able to identify that he probably doesn't need that bunker, as you mentioned.
He just scouts the Nexus and goes back.
Yeah. I'm a bad Terran player, and I cannot play a TVP without getting a bunker. I just don't feel safe. I've lost so many games to just 2 stalkers walking into my natural, and I've got traumatic responses from from Protoss, and now I have to get that bunker no matter what. But I'm also not as good as Time. I can't just scout and instantly know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, he turns around the moment he sees the Nexus as well.
Yeah.
So he's just looking for the minimal tell that you're playing a macro game. I know that's all I need to see. And he actually does invest in the bunker just for a little bit of extra safety there. So he does actually dot his I's, cross his T's. I'd say that's very good for Cyan. A cautious Time is what you want to be playing against, just going into what I would imagine is probably going to be 4-gate blink, just because Cyan has, of course, favored that a bit in previous seasons. Could be a 2-gate blink into the third base. I mean, I love quick third base builds on this map, but I think most Protoss, they look at the main base and how much area there is to blink in there, as well as the natural, and they're like, oh, I can blink into your natural from the low ground fourth, and I can blink into like 20 different places in your main. They just can't resist. They always want a 4-gate blink on this map.
Yeah. It's also playing against the map's image a little bit as well, right? Like the Romanticide is such an easy 3-base map. Sometimes you can hope that your opponent assumes that you're going to be doing that and then just play against it. We've got a Robo on the way here, so 3 gates and a Robo so far from Cyan. Looks like a bit more of a normie build.
Yeah, a bit more defensive usually this one. You can still, of course, blink in and that sort of thing, but more likely to be somewhere in between. Drop, defend with the Stalkers, drop the third, go for Colossus. And that sort of stuff. Obviously, I'm kind of curious what Time does. That's a really early tank, like very early tank, and I kind of have my eyes glued to that production tab for Time. A Raven, very early tank and Raven.
Yeah, I think he thought a 4-gate. Honestly, like how we were thinking about it, I think he was thinking about it too. So he got that bunker in the natural, he got that tank really quickly, like you mentioned. And that Reaper was just to confirm, like, is there a third Nexus yet? And Cyan actually hid that. He was about to drop a pylon there, which shows Time that he would be getting a third. But then he pulled the probe back, trying to maybe mind game the Terran a little bit, freak him out a little bit.
It's just Raven into tank, 2-tank. I kind of referenced this in our little analysis before the series started. Like, is Time just going to go for 2 tanks and a Raven into 3 racks? Because this is like his bread and butter when he's like, nah, this is safe first, just about everything. Solid build, do a bit of scouting with the Reaper, maybe with a Hellion to confirm, sees the third base. He's feeling pretty good with where he's at in this game. It's just one of those things where, it is not the most flexible. Your third command center tends to be very late off of this. And against Colossus play, a lot of it comes down to how useful that Raven ends up being.
The Raven can be pretty amazing against those Colossus builds. If it shows up, if it's been sitting back there accumulating energy and it shows up the Protoss's base with this, and the push times out, usually by the time the push gets over there in this regular build order, the Raven will be able to take out 2 Colossi, which is the exact number that the Protoss will have at that point. But of course, we're casting into our crystal balls right now and trying to talk about what potentially could be, but we don't have prescience. We're not that good. We don't have the spice melange.
No, not unfortunately, no. A bit too expensive for us, but Ooh, third CC goes down pretty quick. Mega Turtley from Time, who's continuing that tank production, dude. He's just really looking to just survive to the latter stage of the game. I mean, he could still do a push, of course, at some point, but it definitely, to me, looks like quite a defensive play. Cyan's got a healthy worker lead, and Cyan, he always pushes that. Cyan doesn't really play like the I'm going to stop at 52 probes and make 100 Zealots and Stalkers game that we're used to seeing from the Zowns, the Zests of this world, those guys who are always ready to fight. Cyan's a guy who likes to sit back and defend. I think a bit more of like a creator if we think of a Korean comparison. Very European style. Showtime, Neve as well, I think, like to play that style.
Yeah.
Raven will clean up that Observer, not bad.
Just every time I think of a macro Protoss, I always go back to thinking about Rain from Heart of the Swarm, but that's... he's a Brood War boy now, of course, but it's just my old school StarCraft fan.
He was one of the OG defensive macro scouters, wasn't he, of Protoss?
Yeah, everyone's 4-gating and stuff, and he's like, but what if we just got 2 forges and a third base, and we just sat there, and all the Protoss were like, whoa, I'm so powerful now.
Ooh, Zealot run by will come in as this push arrives towards the third base. Doesn't find too many SCVs out there. There's plenty of units at home. I think Time's well set up for it. There's not many Zealots on the front. Only one Colossus?
Yeah, this is a surprise. There's the second one coming down now. Third is on the way. Raven isn't with this push, I think it was trying to harass over there for time, and maybe it got picked off there by the defensive stalkers of Cyan. But this push from time, Ravens be damned, is already looking pretty damn good here.
Yeah, I mean, Cyan, I think, really needed to focus on setting up Zealots for a flank.
Oh, man.
Rather than counterattacking. The counterattack was too late. It didn't actually pull these units home at all. So a poorly timed Zealot attack, a bit of an overcommitment onto 5 gas, 20 more work is a little bit too much here for Cyan. And just needed to double down on that Zealot production. That was a devastating fight there. Time with really a rather straightforward push, but the tank count was quite impressive. The 4 tanks in there, very nice. And now Cyan knocked back to 2 bases. What do you do? Drop 2 Nexi at once? It's going to be really hard to get yourself back in this one.
Yeah, right. It turns out the Raven is still alive. It's dropping auto turrets in the natural there. Remember me, Protoss? And that thing is still useful. I mean, he's got free observer pickoffs if he can find them. He's already picked off a couple in this game. Zealot run by going through the middle of the map, getting caught by time, actually. Very nicely done.
Do cop a big tank shot, but most of them surviving. Getting some Colossus swipes on the bio is always going to be helpful before the fight starts, but Cyan's worried about getting surrounded, so he pulls back. He gives up maybe a little bit too much ground there.
Oh, the tanks are going to get targeted down by those Zealots. He gets one of them, nearly gets the second, not quite. And Cyan actually just taps, and game ends with a bit of a whimper instead of a bang, but, you know, time definitely showed that Cyan had an incredibly difficult road ahead of him if you wanted to drag this game out. And I think it's a good call to tap there, conserve your energy, don't get too stressed out. Just wipe that game away and approach game 3 with a fresh mind.
Yeah, cutting the SCV production a little bit there, just keeping up unit production. But the quick third command center kind of tells the Protoss player, yeah, I want to play a macro game. Look at that quick third command center. And Cyan also struggling with those observers, all getting hunted down on the map. Time just methodically denying map vision and arriving at the base, a little bit of a surprise. Cyan was not ready to fight. And a few more Zealots, maybe a bit of a flank from behind. That can look quite a bit different. But with that particular army, if you don't have that correct engage, there's no Immortals in there. Colossus and Stalkers don't kill tanks very fast. If you don't have enough Zealots, they just evaporate to the bio. And the tanks suddenly become this just unfixable problem. You know, tanks are a very slow and immobile unit. But the way he just set everything up there, I kind of wish I talked about it a bit more. Because it kind of felt like, oh, the push is here and now he just wins. There's a lot of details that actually set that up.
Indeed. Well, we are going to get that break coming on in now as we head towards the 3rd game. Guys, Time and Cyan is tied up neck and neck. Can the underdog actually do it here and take down this Terran Titan? Let's find out together after the break. We'll see you then. G'day, StarCraft mates, and welcome back to the DreamHack Masters Chinese main event. Here I am, Maynard, with me is Pig. As Pig checks to make sure his microphone is not muted, because we need to get in together. This is no one-man team here. We are a dynamic duo. Test. Check. Pooping. Checking those pop filters. Pooping, check. Had to go to the doctor, but I didn't want to. Check.
You know, I didn't even know there was a button there. One time I was like streaming and you just brush it and it turns off. And I was like, what? There was like an invisible button on the side of my mic? I was like, oh my Lord.
Yeah.
But now I'm addicted to it. After ruining your eardrums by sneezing and coughing into it too many times, I've finally learned how to press my mute button.
I have a mate that has one of those gamer headsets that if you like, if a dog hair lands on the eardrum part of the headset, it like deactivates the microphone. It's like so sensitive. It's not quite that bad, but it just always seems to touch it or like play with the microphone, which just deactivates the microphone completely. And like, dude, you're muted. And he's like, God.
That's it. Everyone's trying to make that cool sci-fi tech, man. Like, you know, like where we're like controlling screens and moving them around with our hands, and it's not quite exactly the way we're expecting it to work out just yet. But you know what is a little bit like Ender's Game, a little bit badass, controlling futuristic armies at hundreds of actions a second to try and defeat their opponents. Up here, controlling the Empire of Man. This is Time.
And to the bottom left, the Dark Horse, the Challenger. But he's got a map of the series so far. Can he get more, though? Let's find out. This is Good Game Gaming, Cyan, the goodest of game gamers.
Time did play rather cautiously in that last map. It's exactly what Cyan wanted after the cheese in game one. Was not able to capitalize. A little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. Definitely chances to recover from there. And I think last map would have been the perfect one for the greedy 2-gate blink, you know, into the third. Because with that build, you actually get the third base even before the robo. It's like, you just get 2 gateways, drop a third, then you drop the robo, then you drop some more gateways a bit later. It's just super economic. And it really says, hey, if you don't attack and hit me hard, you're going to be in trouble. Now, Cyan played a bit more middle of the road and got absolutely smushed by a rather standard push from Time. So definitely something where Cyan might want to consider either being a bit more aggressive or a bit more greedy.
He actually did go for the Cybercore before the Nexus here, so if he, wanted to play to an advantage, can get a little aggressive with his faster Cybercore, obviously, but usually that's a sign of like, I don't want to die when you get a Cybercore that quick. Usually.
Yeah, it does allow you to force a bunker, maybe do some harassment, but yeah. It often slows your tech down because you gotta get your second pylon earlier than your second gas. So it does kind of weaken your follow-up a little bit. There is something really smooth about the Nexus first, then the Cybercore, and dropping that pylon and just, hey, guess what? Really quick DTs, really smooth blink, really smooth Colossus drop even. There's many different options available. And you know what's fascinating? I feel like we haven't seen much 3-racks out of Time in the last few seasons in this matchup, Maynard.
Yeah, you're quite right. I think Coffee did a 3-racks, but he's the only one that's done it so far. Time's been very much just like a 1-1-1. That build that we just saw last game, the 2 tanks, Raven.
Yeah, and he's very good at it, so no shame in that. But it is something where Cyan could play quite greedy if he wants to try and take advantage of that. But now it is looking like a very similar blink opening for Cyan. Widowmine's on the way to Time. Likely going to be Widowmine drop up against Blink.
And Blink has begun. A very normal build from Cyan, a very normal build from Time as well. Widowmine drop is just a staple in TVP. If you're going to play tournament TVP, this is a build that you need to have in your repertoire. Raven finds a lone Marine, tries to separate it from the pack, but the rest of the herd comes together. The Pride has reconvened. The Hyena gets sent back to the Savannah.
Oh, that command center was misplaced. Does want to fix that, so...
Thank you.
Good opportunity. You're running the SCVs and mules away from an adept anyway. You might as well. Time, though, unforced error. Does correct it. Exact same opening. So Cyan is like, no. This is my standard solid macro opening. I know what mistakes I made in the last game. I'm not going to make them this time. And just repeats it. So I don't mind that as well. Cyan wanting the confidence. Historically, Cyan has been able to do this. Play kind of the same solid opening and still really take the fight to Time. as Time already starting tank production very early. Depth shades on.
Super
Bunkers
similar
on
to
the way.
game 2, but obviously with the Widowmine drop, you can transition from Widowmine drop in a very regular 1-on-1 build. But we got the Liberator next as well, so we're going to go for multiple harassment. This actually could be one of those triple prongs where you go early with the Marines and the tanks before upgrades and push with a few SCVs in a bunker.
The TVP Trident, Maynard. That's right. The Widowmine drop in that case, if he wants to do that, it does look like that. Yeah, second tank queues up. Definitely looks like that. No extra barracks yet, and it's almost 440. He wants to keep the Widowmines alive. So you don't want those to die. If you can get damage, that's great, but notice he's just waiting. He's not even risking it. And that is because he wants to go in, so probably the Liberator in the main, and then push the third base with the Marine tank. Maybe even pull SCVs for bunkers. Some people like to do that with this as well. And behind it, do you think third command center, or does he just add extra barracks?
I think third. Oh, well, I'm cheating now. I just started the production. I wasn't looking at it. I was staring at this medevac, I promise. But there it is. Third is on the way here. And some SCVs can join in later. They're a little bit quicker than the tanks, but they're not in the group just yet. Time is just pushing with the Marines and the tanks here. But yeah, this is the yeah, good blink. Good blinks.
Oh, he actually messed up. His units were idling behind the hedge, but the Widowmines are going to try and distract. The whole point of the Widowmine lib is that means it's really hard for the Stalkers to pick off all the Marines. Does get 3 probes, and this allows the Marine tank to push forward. Cyan not going to be able to micro in every position at once. That's the whole point of this pressure. It's, hey, mechanical overload. Liberator's going to siege the main. The Marine tank actually pulls back for a moment because he knows the Stalkers outnumber him there. The Liberator goes in. Does Time push back in, or does he just completely run home? He's running home. That's a lot of Stalkers.
He's even sieging here in the brush. Oh, big tank shot to the middle of the pack there. Target fire from Time. Very nice.
Stalkers looking for potentially blinking in the main, but they are too damaged. And you're gonna have to wait for a Stalker warp in to clear up that main base. Liberator does find some damage though, and Time has the worker advantage now. Second and third barracks are both up. Maynard, he's starting stim, and this is gonna look very, very nice in the economic position that he's put himself. Blink and charge. It's a very short-term solution. Honestly, I feel like Cyan right now needs to be producing an army that scales well, nothing but probes and upgrades, because it's going to be another 2 minutes before Time can push you. I think about 8:40, maybe 8:30 at the fastest is when his push will come. 9 minutes, probably more likely when the big fight's going to happen. So take advantage of this downtime. Hit the probes, get up to 55, 60 probes. You should know that the follow-up usually to this build is that third command center, but it feels like Cyan here is a little bit more worried about the 3 racks into 5 racks transition.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to keep an eye on that with the observer, and he's actually printing a ton of gateways right now and making a prism. So it looks like he wants to try and get into Time's face.
Yeah, he's going to go all in, I guess, with Zealot Stalker.
All right.
Maybe prism in the main base, unload Zealots in there, and then just swing in. And if you can catch the tanks a bit out of position, it could be big, but I don't really see him being able to hit a timing before the 1-1, the stim and the shields are finished. So the way I'd like to actually see Cyan play this is reactive all-in. So basically be a tiger in the grass, right? You're not going to take on this fully grown, gosh damn buffalo that is Time. He is big, he's meaty, he's got more of everything than you. But if you wait for him to kind of wander out onto the map, into your territory, into some tall grass, there might be an opportunity for you to pounce on that, catch the tanks on siege, Zealots swing in from all sides, backstab the rally point with some Zealots. Then you can get that perfect fight that you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of damage here from the Widowmine, though. 8 more probes going down. Cyan's never really been able to secure a decent economy since the initial Liberator harassment with the Widowmines from Time. And both players are kind of passing each other. I don't think Time's realized he's being all in here.
Yeah, but is it early enough for Cyan? Cyan's so far behind on everything right now. He's going to go for that. He has a slight lead on the initiative of the base trade. That not as much of a lead as I think he wanted. That bio is going to eagerly base trade with him. And he's got to breach the main right now.
He certainly does. Protoss has the power of recall, but Cyan, I don't think, has any interest in going home. He's trying to get into the main base of Terran. He blinks on in, but the charge lots can't get in because of the depots. They're still really healthy. The bio with Marauders on the ramp as well.
The Widowmines hit the center of the Stalkers when they blinked up past the ramp. They got annihilated by the Widowmines and the Marauders. And Time, I mean, he's going to hang on to his main base while everything is going to die on Cyan's side of the map. So Cyan just a little too slow on the jump. It was a good idea going for the base trade here, avoiding the head-on collision of armies, which he knew was a foregone conclusion. But as it is, Time a little bit too strong with this triple prong trident play, as you called it earlier in the map. A great push, and it's so hard to handle that Maynard. The Widow Mine drop in one position, Libs elsewhere, and Marine Tank encroaching on your third base. Excellent execution from the Terran.
Yeah, I used to call it the TY Trident. You call it the TVT Trident, because TY was the guy that I stole the build from. Because he used to do it a fair bit actually at the pro level. But he didn't actually. That was the one with the bunkers, the really early version with the SCVs.
I was playing a lot of Protoss at that time, Maynard. It was not a fun time. It was all over the ladder. I was like, it's so hard. I can't micro Stalkers in 3 places at once. Like, Stalkers are all about micro. You can't micro that. It's so hard.
Yeah, dude. It's 3 things at once at like 5 minutes in the game. It's like, you're not supposed to deal with 3 things at once at 5 minutes in the game. That's a 10-minute in the game thing.
It's an excellent build order and done really well by Time. I like the commitment. Decisively just continues forwards across the map. Does not second guess himself. If he pulls back, he loses 25 SCVs at command center, and Cyan recalls home. And then Cyan's in the lead in a good position. But Time just confidently pushes on through, takes the base trade, defending at the same time, and very well executed.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the army of Time was a lot bigger and a lot more powerful, and Cyan really needed to get on top of production. Time stopped the charge lots from getting into his production facilities. He stopped the Immortals from getting on top of his factory units and on top of his tanks and on top of his factory, for that matter, which was the the way to seal the deal here as a Terran. And the Widow Mine's getting an insane hit on the Zealots earlier, like you mentioned during the cast. Time doing an excellent job in the heat of the moment. Like, those kind of situations are where the weak crumble, but the cream will rise to the top there. And Time definitely rose to the challenge that Cyan gave him down there on the Oxide.
Yeah, indeed. Definitely a good way to just kind of stabilize in this series. Dying a proxy Void Ray game 1 and then asserting dominance games 2 and game 3. Now only 1 game away from progressing through to that grand finals to basically just say, yeah, I'm still the king. He at the moment, Time is walking through a gauntlet, a series of challenges that he is kind of like, do I even need to do this, guys? Seriously? Like, come on. This is my crown. You guys need to show me that you deserve to take it from me.
And honestly, there's not too many regions where one particular player can just say, look, I'm the daddy. Like, it just walks into, like, if the bracket was a club, Time actually has like a throne with his name written on it in lights. He walks in and all the staff in miniskirts give him a giant cape and a scepter. They put the crown on his head. They give him his favorite cocktail, and he sits there. He drapes his leg over the armrest and says, all right, let's begin this tournament. That is what this bracket is to this guy in the bottom left from Kaiser Gaming. On match point, this is Time.
And his opponent in the top right, the underdog in this series. So far, unable to withstand those mid-game timing attacks. Let's see if he can turn it around. It's Good Game Gaming, Cyan.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Bonus on Cyan here to try and tie things up. Looks like he's dotting his I's and crossing his T's and his lowercase J's. Looking for anything Terran on the map, making sure that there's no SCV over there trying to hide something.
Barracks gas, so pretty standard from Time. He hasn't really shown a proxy barracks or anything like that. Hasn't felt the need to. And so far, Cyan not forcing him to either. So, it's always funny when I see Terrans feeling like they've got to do all this wild, crazy stuff. And you see someone like Time just play so standard in this region, and I'm like, is it that simple? Like, but then you realize it's just all the tiny little execution pieces. It's never getting supply blocked. It's every mule dropping the moment he has 50 energy. It's just the perfect syncing up of all of those pieces. As the probe does block that command center for a good 7 or 8 seconds there. That was quite a nice delay.
Yeah.
Definitely want to chrono and adept across the map, see if you can delay that some more.
For sure, especially now that the Cybercore is done already. Definitely seems like a plus EV play here for Cyan. He's going to work on that right now. Straight into Warp Gate as well, so it's like we're going to have at least 4 games without a Stargate. Looks like a Twilight Council opener.
Yeah, it certainly does. I'd love to see something different, but since there's no 3 racks, something like Colossus Drop, even crazy builds like that that are really good against 3 racks, I'm like, it's really not called for here. Like, it doesn't make sense against how Time's playing, so Time will go for that bunker, but the Adept will arrive before that's finished. That being said, 3 Marines are out, so they should easily push back the Adept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's enough firepower here. Time even moving out to intercept the Adept, which is something I like a lot. You know, trying to keep that thing away from being able to shade in range of a mineral line, or at least make it, you know, reconsider the play.
Very standard opening for Cyan again. I'd like to see Cyan go into this with the mindset of already thinking of some special source. You know, the special source that going to base trade charge up Blink in that last game. Great idea. But don't do that just because you fall behind. I want to see that from the start of this game. At this point, you know, there's no, oh, let's just rely on my standard macro play. I want to see Cyan go hard in a direction and look to smash through Time using some gambles, using some wilder plays. And the Robo does go down a bit earlier this time. So 2-gate Blink into the Robo. Probe moving over to the 3rd base. Looks like an attempt for an early 3rd off 2-gate. So a bit of a change-up.
Yeah, Hellion running into the natural. Actually going to get it into the main. Have a good old scout. Oh, tell me he doesn't get any probe kills here. Okay.
Good micro by Cyan. Bit too solid. 3rd Nexus goes down pre-4 minutes. Very well executed by Cyan. And on the other side, the Medevac Widowmine drop will... Oh, the Adept actually shades past. So I don't think it saw the Medevac because the shade happened right as it flew over where the Adept was standing. And does, of course, see just that there's a decent little Marine count. Stalkers should be set up in a rather normal formation looking for exactly this sort of maneuver.
Yeah, very, very, very common strat here from the Terran. The Stalker's already in position. They know the time. They know the place to be. They're moving to try and intercept this Medevac. Observer on the way as well for Cyan as he goes for the regular sort of 3-gate Robo follow-up, but that is not regular. Well, like the Templar Archive's actually going down here in the main base.
Very tank focused from Time. Storm drop is the way to deal with this. Oh, he's moving out of the main. Oh, okay, so Time didn't come in at the normal moment. Okay, he's waiting between the bases, though, at least. The Observer, though, I don't know if it's going on a path to see the Medevac. I almost feel like it's not. It's going to miss it. Oh, okay, he sees it. But doesn't notice it. Uh-oh, that's real bad. That's super bad for Cyan.
Yeah, he's going to be taking some mine shots here for sure. Can he get something done with these units, at least on the Terran side of the map? And tank is out. Stim's on the way. I foresee some lost probes here, Pig.
Yeah, we'll see. Seeing Stalkers on the other side of the map definitely sometimes is the thing that prompts you to dive with that. Storm on the way. 5 more gateways. Cyan here rushing to Storm charge lot, and it's all going to be about trying to land it. Now, remember, Cyan tried this against Time in last season, and there was a game where Cyan just kind of saw the High Templar. If he sees them, he will not let Storm touch, and he'll still come at you, dude. He will dance through the Storms with his bio, keep attacking you, and you're just gonna fall apart. It's so hard to deal with. So Cyan, he's gonna have to get a Warp Prism out as well to guard the High Templar, stop them from getting picked off, and look for those engagements at exactly the right time.
Oh, Raven even gonna hit the natural at the same time here.
Distraction, yeah, and damage. Yeah. Very nice, gets 1 probe. Good pull for Cyan. Widowmine drop hasn't gone in just yet.
Yeah, I would have thought that they would hit at the same time. So it's, you know, tax the multitasking of Cyan.
Yeah, exactly. And yet it's just waiting. I think maybe there's a Stalker on the edge there, so maybe it poked in and saw a Stalker's there and was like, yeah, nah, let's just kind of wait, you know, keep Cyan uncomfortable, bring it in when there's a more serious pressure. Because that Raven will bank up energy. It'll come in later for another round of that. There is a High Templar that would like to feedback it.
Get that whole 7 energy fed back.
Yeah, that's why it's waiting, right? He's like, your job is 2 minutes from now when he has 100 energy, feedback it.
Yeah. Well, the important upgrades from Terran, the holy trinity of Terran early game, Stim, Combat Shield, and +1 attack for TVP is around the corner here for Time, and Cyan's going to survive this timing attack. I mean, I guess every attack Time does is a timing attack, right?
Indeed, Shield Battery does shut down a single auto turret. Can't do anything there. So that's not really going to achieve much. Now, there's still not a lot of support. Cyan has an amazing economy, He has to do nothing but hold down that Zealot key right now.
Yeah.
There's the Warp Prism. This is what I'm talking about. If he sees your High
Storm.
Templar, dude, he's not gonna walk into those. Where is the Warp Prism? You've got to have one. I do like the Zealot run by, but remember last game, he did it after the army was already on his side of the map, and there's plenty of reinforcements. This is another time where it doesn't really make sense to go in right now. He's had too much of a chance to rebuild plenty of units, so Time is ready on his high ground with more than enough fire. Those Zealots need to pull out.
Not many Terrans actually, you know, obviously the really, really, really good ones always seem to be able to mitigate all this, you know, charge lot damage, not getting hurt by prisms, that sort of thing. So many Terrans, even the really good ones, just seem to have a weakness when it comes to charge lot run-bys, but not Time. His army was actually already on the way home anyway, so he was a little bit lucky in that regard. But like you mentioned, he had the army in position anyway. He had the Martha Stewart army, the one he prepared earlier.
Is there a
Zealot
Warp Prism out yet? Because if there's no Warp Prism, I really worry that he's not going to be able to jump on this push.
I haven't seen one at all.
I think this works fine against lesser Terrans. I don't know if Time's going to let you storm his army.
Oh, that worker ball was a little late there, but he does manage to actually do a decent job there, splitting losers 4 instead of a whole lot more.
Uh-oh.
Time setting up. A lot of energy on this High Templar, but you're quite right. Without the Prism, they can't avoid tanks.
Ghosts. Oh, EMP's landing, Maynard. They're landing. Big storm, though. Oh,
Massive
my God.
storms. The first one was insane, and the second one, Time kind of moves into a little bit, but I think he thinks he's got enough firepower to make it not matter anyway, but the charge lot's big.
Dude, the Immortals amidst the tanks and the Marauders, that was a very poor fight for Time. He got a bit overeager. He wanted to finish this series. He wanted to be done and dusted. He's losing 10 SCVs and the full medevacs. The Zealot run by distracted him, and he misclicked the medevacs, Maynard.
Oh, man. Time not set the queue on for the medevac safety, and now he's actually behind here. Cyan can try and capitalize with a big counterattack.
Doesn't have a Warp Prism, though.
No, I mean, there's one on the way, but yeah, you're quite right. Like, this attack on the third base is happening right now. This Prism needed to be here right now, but Time still kind of, you know, a little bit underwhelming with these defensive forces, and Cyan wins game 4.
Yeah, I'm not sure if 2 of those High Templar were just out of vision or not, but Time was like, yes, EMP'd the High Templar and stemmed right into his doom. I was talking about dancing through storms. That was headbutting into storms. So.
Yeah, that's like that's the meme of that long-haired dude with the American flag standing out in the street while the you know,
there's like the hurricane and the tornado.
Yeah, he's like in Florida or something,
yeah,
and he's getting annihilated by a town-destroying hurricane, and he's just like, America! That's what Time was doing with his Marines right there. It's just like, Terran! Meanwhile, he's like, units are getting shredded by space magic.
Space magic, dude. It's forced bath time for that Terran army. Bit of scrub behind the ears from the Protoss High Templar. They, yeah, scrub their literal faces off and eviscerate them. But that is the way it goes, dudes. The Psystorm, I was like, there's no way this lands. Time's going to avoid it. Time got a bit overeager there and tried to force the issue. And the High Templar did work out. I kind of wonder, the Warp Prism's so late for Cyan. I do feel like Cyan should have been out there kind of looking for the fight on the map and looking to engage. I always feel that's the strength of High Storm Immortal Charge Slot. Jump on the Terran army before it sieges. But he was playing a very passive style with that and just kind of macroing forth. Really fascinating approach from Cyan.
Indeed. And I honestly think, to be honest, he got a little bit lucky there. Time kind of made a bit of a blunder in that attack, did not respect Storm enough. If he did, maybe the series is over. But as it stands, it continues after the break. The deciding map between Time and Cyan will be there for us. So don't go away. We'll see you shortly. G'day StarCraft fans and welcome back to the DreamHack Masters Chinese main event. Here I'm Maynard, with me is Pig, and we're in our last best of 5, our last map of this best of 5. Our last map for this broadcast, actually, before we give way to EU. It is time versus Cyan. Cyan putting up potentially a bit more of a fight than we potentially would have thought.
Indeed, a really nice fight back in that map. Just hanging on well, defending the Widow Mine drop, the Raven fantastically under pressure. Stalker's kind of just, controlling the map a little bit, and then, hey, Storm's pretty good apparently. Does just absolutely pounce when Time pounces on him, and he stabs him and says, thank you. You jumped on me Storms, my defense, tore your army apart. So very well played by Cyan to win that last game, and a little bit of a mix-up with the quicker third base. I did like that greedier Nexus for Cyan, since Time is playing such a straightforward and standard game.
Yeah, completely agree. It's a little bit of a shame that the games that Cyan have won felt a little bit on the lucky side. I don't want to be that guy that, maybe a little lucky in a couple of these games where he did win. But obviously, it's not just luck that gets you wins in StarCraft 2. I know some people out there vehemently believe that, but you're actually doing like 1,000 different things when you play the video game, and you got to do a lot of it correctly to be in a position to actually capitalize on your opponent's mistakes, to turn it into a big win like that.
I think I know exactly what you mean, Maynard. In that last game, it didn't really feel like Cyan had a big game-winning play or an ability to exert control over the game at that stage, right? Good economy, good defense, sure, good scouting, but it kind of felt like Time was in the driver's seat, and there wasn't much Cyan could do about it with the choices he was making. No Warp Prism to pack those High Templar in and do a nice quick mobile Storm drop. Wasn't super heavy on the Zealots because he was investing a lot in the Immortals, starting to add upgrades. So to me, it felt a little bit like maybe lacking that killer timing or that ability to kind of get out on the map and really fight Time on his terms. And that is a style. Some Protoss players prefer this, just sit back, let the Terran come to you, fight in shield battery range. But it's so difficult, honestly. I really feel like small mistakes, everything crumbles. And we saw that earlier in this series as well in the second game, where it was like, bam, here's a tank attack. Oh, you didn't have enough units, you die. And I think that's a dangerous scenario to put yourself in against Time.
Completely agree. Even with the 4 games that we've been seeing here, I do feel like Time is still the better player. And Cyan is going to have to, to potentially get the series win here, definitely not rely on the opponent making mistakes. Have something a little bit more convincing, a little bit more of a well-cooked idea. You know what I mean? Like something that's a really decisive, strong plan from Cyan. Because I'm with you on that last game. I don't know how he like turns that into a win unless the Terran just throws their units away, which thankfully for Cyan is what happened. In the bottom left here on Blackburn in the blue. This is time.
And his opponent in the bottom right of Blackburn, the Protoss player representing Good Game Gaming. It's Cyan.
Good Game Gaming, truly the goodest gamers, but only when they play good games, which is all they play actually.
Yeah, they play a lot of good games. Honestly, they're into the gaming as well, so I do enjoy a good bit of Good Game Gaming, my friend.
I think it's good.
Gaming.
And the circle is complete. Cyan,
it's no,
I like that he looks for Terran every time at the front of his natural.
You know, I was talking about kind of Good Game Gaming just being a kind of funny sounding name, of course, and the other day, and I was remembering I was thinking about what is the funniest esports team names, and immediately remembered what I recalled at the time as KT Finger Bang, but it was Finger Boom. It was Finger Boom. I love that you and me both remember it as Finger Bang.
I wonder what. I don't know how I could get there, but you know, there's I know the answer for me. It's because there's a South Park episode where they're a boy band. Yeah, exactly. You know the one. You know the one. My man.
Yeah, dude, that was. There's some good names. Translations, of course, are fantastic. We need more Google Translate in our life as well, to be honest. It does create moments of joy for all of us. This is NSCV scouting, similar to game 1, gets there, but he actually goes into the main and confirms there's a gateway there as well. So checking that it's not like a Max Packs build with a proxy first gateway out on the map or anything like that.
Getting that probe really lucky for time there. I mean, there's not really a whole lot of information for Cyan on the other side of the map till the Adept gets there, which isn't going to be too long, to be fair. A very similar to build to, at least, you know, very similar opener to the last game here for Cyan for game 4. Twilight Council.
Yeah. Twilight Council coming down there. The Adept is on the way, of course. And the Reaper going to hop on in. Shield Battery says you can't damage the probes here, and not even a little bit, mate. And that Adept will chase off the Reaper. The other one is going to go on in, and the bunker will finish just barely in time. Perfectly, you know, on schedule to make sure that Adept cannot do damage.
I can hear your wheels spinning, man.
Man, well, I was proud of that one, dude. It's 1:40 a.m. I skipped my coffee, which is a terrible decision before this broadcast. And yet, here I am finding other ways of phrasing things other than repeating time 400 times a game.
Honestly, I think if I didn't call it out, you would have gotten away with it. So honestly, it's probably a bit of a dick move on my behalf. It's not very good. Not very good co-castering.
Hey, that's fun, mate. I'm down with it.
And Reaper and the Adept playing footsies up here on the north side of the map. Adept catches the Reaper. Well, actually, might get a shot off but not kill the Reaper. The Stalker definitely on the intercept, though. Oh, good jukes. Oh, tell me he's not out of there. Okay, there we go. That would have been a crime if that Reaper survived.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Tilt Reaper that Protoss talk about at the Protoss bar, where they're sitting around drunk and they're commiserating, patting each other on the back, like, he ran in circles, man. Like, I had 3 Adepts chasing him. I had to turn my Oracle on. I had to turn my goddamn Oracle on.
He was 1 shot from death, but then when I got there, he killed his hit points.
And we're going for the quick third, but the Hellion is there to stop it. Notice how he used it there to block the Nexus even. And that probe will go down. Adept's going to be annoying on the other side of the map. And, you know, I think this is okay for time. I think that's okay.
Yeah, this is great for time,
actually. A couple Marines, but you get a few Adepts. Adepts aren't the greatest unit, so I mean, I don't think you mind trading your Adepts out if you get a Marine or 2, or the Adepts, but yeah, losing 2 to just 2, it's obviously not great cost for cost. Twilight Council, Templar Archives, I should say, is on the way again there for Cyan. But even before the 3rd base, like, this is... Storm's good, Maynard, and it worked last game. I don't think rushing Storm this early is really a priority.
True. Yeah, this is almost the same build from... well, actually, it is the same build from Game 4. But...
No third Nexus.
Yeah, no third Nexus. And boy, I would not rely on Storm in this matchup super hard. Like, I know that a lot of people die to it, but professional players don't die to rush Storm, really. It's more of a...
You need a lot of support, right? It's like you'll get 1 or 2 good Storms, especially against tank styles, and then they're too busy spreading and running from the Storm, so your Zealots are tearing them up, right? That's what you're looking for. But if you're banking on the Storms doing everything, which kind of looked like he was last game, that gets scary. You know what else gets scary, Maynard? There's no tanks building this game. He's building reactors. I think he's just going to build Widow Mines. And Widow Mine bio is so naturally strong against Zealot Storm.
Alien block from the natural there with that extra gateway. Oh, this time Cyan realized what was missing. The incredibly important ingredient when you're trying to make Storm work for you as a Protoss against Terran. And that is their first class ship, the Warp Prism.
We've got Marines on the way there. Medevac's about to pop out as well. Stalkers pick off the Marine on the ramp. We get some hits on the Raven if they want. They go for the Marauder. Not a bad kill. Marauder, a very valuable unit.
Excellent. Good trade there for Cyan. Just a little bit of hit points and shields for dead Marauder. Now, the Prism is out. The High Templar are about to take their seats. Time going for a drop here. A lot of damage output in that. Keep in mind that a dropship is going to have a bunch of stim bio with +1 attack. That's quite a bit of DPS up there to the north side of the map.
What is really cool about this Storm drop is he's going to have double Storms on each High Templar when the fight happens. So if you lose them without like getting the Storms off, it sucks, but they're just going to have so much energy banked up. These 4 High Templar represent a real threat. Problem is there's almost no army out for Cyan right now. Trying to build a Mortal Chargelet Stalker, but so bare bones in terms of the numbers.
Yeah. And he's going to have charge, and that's great, but not enough minerals to print like an incredible amount of Stalkers, of Zealots, rather. He fights the shield battery. I feel a little bit better about it. Another shield battery in overcharge range there in the natural. Yeah, the Prism needs to get some great Storms here.
Oh, he gets spotted, though. Oh, can he get it? Can he get it? Oh, big, juicy side Storms.
Huge Storms, actually, and the bio kind of missed part there a little bit, but we got a drop in the natural as well. Time hitting the probe line in the natural while the main army at the front gets excused from the premises thanks to the Storms. Some of the bio is going to die. No, it's
pretty decent enough defense, I think. 8 probes go down. It's not too bad. Still equal economy is, of course, totally fine for the Terran player, whose 3rd command center will finish shortly. Feedbacking that 2 energy medevac. That's the move you were calling for in the last game, Maynard.
Yeah. Huge feedback. Huge. I like that he's getting Vikings as well. You know, a lot of Terrans are like, oh, I just got to get a Ghost Academy and deal with the High Templar. With the Prism, you need the Vikings as well. Big drop in the main base. We've got a couple of Widow Mines coming in. The bio now starting to trickle out of the medevacs as well. Prism actually doesn't have any High Templar in it.
Yeah, no, this is really bad. Look, he's going to lose his 3rd. He's going to lose his 3rd. This is so bad. Oh, no. Time completely out positioning him. He does have a shield battery there. That will help out a little bit. Okay, one Psystorm does zone this out, but okay, even dodges the Widow Mine shot there with the Stalkers. Very well done by Cyan. He's hanging on, stabilizing for a moment, but he's got to push this back, and he's so low on map vision. We need to see observers in that production tab. It should be way higher priority than anything else right now, especially on this map.
Yeah. Forge is just now starting for Cyan, so Time's going to have an upgrade lead for quite a hot minute. Of course, Storms don't really care about your upgrades. Ghosts are on the way. Vikings are out now for Time as well, so we can actually deal with the Prism directly with a dedicated push very soon here, which is problems for Cyan because it's kind of his only ace in the hole. Here comes the High Templar, and as soon as they arrive, peace, see you later. The medevac units trade, and Time leaves. He hasn't actually lost a whole lot here for the damage that he's done. Yeah. And he's managed to, like, you know, yeah, the Protoss is up a couple of workers right now, but that is actually not good economically at all for the Protoss to be on equal bases, equal workers with the Terran. That's good for Terran.
Widow Mine's just so good for this style, Maynard, because what do you want to do against the Storm? Well, you don't just pick him apart, right? Drop the main, drop the 3rd, roam around in little squads. Don't have one big giant concentration of bio and spread the Widow Mines everywhere because they naturally don't have the Colossus to just outrange them and snipe them down from afar. And oh, that Prism is on a very dangerous path. Oh no.
Welcome to pain.
Unload.
You can't even recall it anymore. You can't recall it. You have to make an arc on a recall, surely.
Recall the High Templar, I guess.
Yeah.
They're going to try and run home, float home. I don't know. I don't think High Templar run. They kind of float along eerily. They do like a bit of that low pan maneuver. It's going to take them a while to get home.
Are they going for a walk? Or I guess a float. They kind of just float through the air.
Yeah.
And Cyan's heading towards something a little bit more convincing here, like a reaction to Ghosts and Bio and Winter Mines, which is like, you know, Disruptors or Colossi. But I don't even know if we're going to be seeing any, man. This push from Time looks spooky, especially when he gets those EMPs.
Trying to get him with the double Robo Colossus 4th base. Cyan macroing really well. His supplies keeping up. And he's got very quality units. His 1-1 upgrades, when those catch up, it's equal on the ups. Flanking High
Crouching
Templar.
Protoss. Crouching Protoss, hidden Psystorm. Ah, the Psystorm's whiff.
Make it Archon. Okay, not bad. Time will get that Archon. But gotta be careful. Those High Templar are way too clumped right now.
Does Time have enhanced shockwave?
I don't know.
No, he doesn't.
Looks like no. I don't think he needs it just yet. I hate this gold base, Maynard.
It's just, it's a liability, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big boon when you got map control, but when you play the way Cyan plays, I don't think you should ever take it. Because at least if he had to kill the base in the top right, Time has to come in deeper, more chance of surrounding him, right? Punishing him, you know, catching him off a bit more. It's more of a commitment at the very least. So if you're playing very defensive, I don't think the gold base is a great move unless you're willing to contest the map.
Nice big charge lot run by here by Cyan. It seems like Time's going to be able to clean it up pretty well. Might lose some SCVs, but that is a lot of charge lots. In fact, he's going to recall, realizing this is about to go very bad. I mean, losing 1,500 worth of minerals for like 2 or 3 SCVs is definitely not what he can do at this point. That's not going to get him any wins. Does at least get rid of the Raven. It's one less thorn on his side. And he is able to get up a bunch of Colossus production, but Time still has those Vikings left over from earlier. He's got a lot of Marauders. He's got a big upgrade lead on the way as well. 2-2 about to finish. Here comes the Prism again. Oh, takes an EMP.
I think a wise choice to give this up. Get that Prism out of there!
No! Oh my god, the Prism! Oh, no! Cyan!
Now Time can just push. Time knows. He's like, you just lost all your High Templar. I can just kill you. There's like maybe 1 or 2 Cyan Storms left in there. Oh my gosh. EMP blanketing everything. This is brutal.
Absolutely insane. There's actually 2 full energy High Templar coming in from the natural. Or actually, sorry, excuse me, they're... they are full energy High Templar.
They're full energy, dude. They got EMP down to 100 energy. Unfortunate for Cyan. How the cookie crumbles. We were talking about that before that game.